The 5-0 Humboldt Cubs are going into week 3 of district play against the 1-4 Riverton Rams. Riverton coming off their first win of the season last week as they defeated Northeast Arma 35-14. As we are opening the game with an onside kick by Riverton, recovered by the Cubs at the 45-yard line. It's been a very, very strong season for the Humboldt Cubs. It's a season that looks like they may end up with a undefeated regular season record. Riverton is trying to win a couple more district games so they might get a bid for a playoff spot. Humboldt almost looks like a lock to get home field playing advantage in the first week of the playoffs. Each team is playing in Class 2A in the state of Kansas this year as reclassifications dropped a bunch of teams. Humboldt is going to start off their first offensive series in a full house pistol formation. Play action pass. Dagan Goodner's to pass. Almost hits as he throws. Has a receiver downfield. It is caught. Very nice catch. Oh, no, they are going to say incomplete. The ball did pop out. Almost had his receiver in stride. Intended receiver on the play was number 13 for the Cubs. Humboldt is going to set up shop once again at the 45, 2nd and 10. It's going to be a handoff up the right. Looks like Haviland has a carry. He's out to the right, across the 40 of the Rams, and he is down at the 38-yard line. About a 17-yard carry on the play for Haviland. He's had a very solid season as starting tailback for the Cubs. He plays in just about every facet of the game. Return specialist, tailback, and defensive back for the Cubs. Pistol formation once again for the Cubs. Twin receivers to the left. It's going to be a handoff. Nope. Play action. And Goodner's going to keep it. Get a nice block on the edge. He's going to cut it back up. He's going to have one defender to beat. He beats him. And Goodner is in the end zone for a Cubs touchdown. 29 seconds into the contest, and the Cubs are already on the board. Score is now 6-0. Dagan Goodner with a 37-yard touchdown run. Exactly what Coach Wyrick wants to see on his first possession. I believe just about every game so far this season the Cubs have scored on their opening drive. The Cubs are going to go for 2, which is no surprise for those of you that follow Cubs football. Empty backfield for Goodner. Motion left, that's Haviland. It's going to be a sweep to Haviland. He's going to be decked in the backfield, and he is not going to go down easy, but they will knock him down for about a 3-yard loss. 2-point conversion, no good for the Cubs. So that's going to make the score stay at 6-0. 11:31 remaining here in the first quarter, or 29 seconds into the game. We're going to go ahead and send it back to the studio for a 30-second timeout, and we'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, as well as our 1460 AM YouTube channel. We are joining us back. Humboldt Cubs are already on the board with a touchdown, leading 6-0 over the Riverton Rams, just 30 seconds into the ball contest. Set to kick off is Dagan Goodner, and he is going to boot it deep down the middle. There's a whistle on the play. They're going to blow it dead. We're going to see what the call is. Penalty on the Cubs. So that's going to back up the kickoff about, let's see where they mark it.
Kick from the 35.
It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, so illegal procedure on the Cubs. Somebody probably got a little bit offside. Goodner set to kick. And the kick is to the left side of Riverton. Two guys going for the ball to field it. It's taken by number 10 for the Rams and is going to get to about the 43-yard line of Riverton.
With the return. Gets up to the 42. It's where the Rams will start 1st and 10.
And that was Elijah Mestis on the return, junior for the Rams. He and a teammate were kind of going at it for the ball. Didn't communicate very well, so let's see what the offense can bring. It's going to be a handoff to the right to number 11, and he's going to gain maybe a yard, if that.
Shoulder with the carry. Little game to play 2nd down.
They do not have number 11 on the roster, so not sure what his name is. Let's see if we can figure that out here before too long. Snap is good. Handoff up the middle. Met at point of attack. Shakes out of a tackle, but his efforts are no good, and he's going to be knocked down for a no gain once again. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10. Number 42, Levi Hedrick on the carry, freshman for Riverton. Humboldt's defensive line has been stout all year long, not really allowing much of a running attack. It is going to be a play-action pass to the right, screen play, and incomplete pass. Haviland laid some lumber on number 27 for the Rams. That is Demonic Rooks. The sophomore tight end got lit up from behind as the ball was tipped and flying through the air. Haviland was making sure nobody got that one. It is 4th and 13 is what they're going to call it here. Punting situation for the Rams. Back deep to receive number 15 and number 20 for the Cubs. It is going to be fielded by Haviland off of a bounce. Got a good one, and he's going to take it to the left side. He's a very good returner. He's got some space. One man to beat on the edge and see if he can outrun the defenders. Got a block downfield. Haviland's got a lane. There is a flag on the play. That is very questionable. They're going to call that a block in the back on the Cubs. I don't know about that one, folks. Haviland is very dangerous in the return game, and he showed you exactly why on that one. That's going to take a score off of the board. It's going to be a spot foul, and the penalty marker is on the 27-yard line of Riverton. So it's in the positive side of the field. It's going to mark him back 15 yards. I still don't know if I quite agree with that call. It's very questionable. I could see the official making the call. I just don't know if I would have called it myself. It's right there in the gray area. Defender had his head turned towards the blocker, but it was kind of in the side, so Humboldt will take over at the 37-yard line of Riverton. Goodner is going to pass right and off of the mark intended for Kyler Allen on the play.
Pass to number 6, Kyler Allen, falls incomplete.
Number 11 with the coverage for the Rams. Try to hit him on a quick bubble screen to the right. Got him a little too far out in front of him. A little too forward for Allen, but if you're Allen, that's really what you want, is a pass right in front of you to where you can take it in stride and run upfield. Just over 10 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. It is 2nd and 10 for Humboldt. Trips receivers to the right. It is going to be a speed option to the right. Goodner's going to keep it himself and gain a good 6 or 7 yards on the play. He had the option to pitch it to Haviland, but elected to keep it to himself. It probably would have ended up about the same if he would have pitched to Haviland. They're going to mark it at the 31-yard line, so a 6-yard carry for Dagan Goodner on the play. That is going to bring up a 3rd and about, we're going to call it 4 yards. Riverton playing kind of a 4-3 offset defense. It's going to be a quarterback run for Goodner. He's up the middle. He's beating a couple guys, and he's going to be brought down at about the 18-yard line. Another good run for Dagan Goodner. That's going to be about a, we're going to call that an 8-yard scamper up the middle. Direct quarterback run, no other option on the play. Kind of looked like something the Florida Gators might have run back in 2008 with Tim Tebow back into helm. 9 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. It is 1st and 10 as Humboldt is in the red zone. They're at the 19-yard line, trying to get their second score of the ball game. Pistol formation. Hurst to the left side of Goodner. Haviland to the backside. Excuse me. It is going to be a handoff to Haviland. He's going to bounce it out left. He's got one guy to beat, and he is going to be swallowed up and thrown down at the 9-yard line. Good, solid open field tackle. Can't see quite yet who that was on the stop for the Rams, but they're going to credit him a 10-yard carry. That should be good enough to move the chains, but they might say that he is a couple. They're going to say he is short, so it's 2nd and inches from the 9-yard line for the Cubs. One receiver left, one receiver right. Full house formation in the pistol. Hand off to Haviland. He's got a lane up the right, and he is in the end zone easily. Touchdown Cubs. That is going to bring the score 12-0 as the Cubs will more than likely go ahead and elect to go for a 2-point conversion. They've only attempted probably about 5 or 6 point-after attempts all season. Been successful on most of them. They have had a couple blocked, though, so you know why they do go for 2 most of the time. 8:05 remaining here in the first quarter. Line up in the shotgun formation. Twin receivers right. It's going to be a run right, and Goodner is in the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. That'll bring the score 14-0 in favor of the Cubs. We're going to go ahead and send it back to the studio for another 30-second timeout, and we'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas, as the Humboldt Cubs have scored once again this evening. That makes the score 14-0 in favor of the Cubs. If you're just joining us, the Cubs are 5-0 coming into this contest, and Riverton is listed at 1-4, but they are coming off of their first victory last week against Northeast Arma. Dagan Goodner is set to kick off for the Cubs. It is a kick once again to the left side, fielded by number 10. And he had a lane for a second, and it closed up quickly. Number 13 for the Cubs, Isaiah Coronado, took him down at about the 35 or 36-yard line. They're going to call it the 35. So Riverton is going to take over 1st and 10, kind of close to the 50, right in the middle of their own field of play. Snap is good. It's going to be a handoff to the left, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield. Number 71 on the stop for the Cubs. That is Joshua Hull. Number 4 on the carry, Hunter Crowder, the freshman tailback for the Rams. Looks like he might be pretty darn quick, so the Rams might have a little bit of a rushing attack this evening if they can actually get the edge. They need to do a little bit better so far, sealing their edge blocks, but there is still life in this ball game. Motion left, handoff up the middle, and he is driven back immediately. Looked like David Watts, big man up in the middle of the defensive line, met him 2-3 yards deep in the backfield and just kept driving. Loss of 4 on the play. That is going to bring up a 3rd and very long. They're going to call it 3rd and 19 from the Rams 25. Motion right, handoff right up the middle, and met once again by David Watts. And that's going to push him back about another 4 or 5 yards. And that's going to bring up a 4th and very, very long for the Rams. This is a storyline that has followed the Cubs defense all season long. David Watts and the defensive line for the Cubs has been outstanding. It is going to bring up a punting situation, 4th and 23 on the 22-yard line for the Rams. 6:31 remaining here in the first quarter. Good snap. Got a left-footed punter tonight. It is going to fall short. It's going to hit the Rams' 40-yard line, and Humboldt is smart to let it roll. It'll roll to the 44-yard line of Riverton. So the Cubs are going to start off in wonderful field position here on their next drive. Offense already jogging onto the field. They're not going to waste any time getting this one going. 6:14 remaining here in the first quarter. Humboldt does lead 14-0. As you can hear the Riverton faithful in the background with the marching band and the cheerleaders. The opening national anthem was actually very, very good. The Riverton Rams have an excellent choir program, it appears. Humboldt will come out for offense in a shotgun formation. Tucker Hurst beside Dagan Goodner. Stacked receivers to each side. It is going to be a fake high snap. Hurst is going to take a carry. He's out the right side. Meets one guy at the 25, drags him to the 20. And Hurst is going to be whistled down at, they're going to call it the 21-yard line. Good play, Cubs. That's going to be about, if I can do my math here in my head really quick, about 22 yards on the play. Right around there. Cubs looking strong once again. And it looks like they're going to come right back out in the same exact formation. Hurst to the opposite side of the quarterback this time. It is going to be a quarterback run to the left, and he's going to be brought down after about a yard gain, if that. They are going to call it a gain of 1, so it'll be 2nd and 9 from the 22-yard line. 24 on the Rams for the tackle. That is Gavin Gilmore, the junior linebacker. They exploited the C gap very well as he got to Goodner in no time. That is something we do not see very often for the Humboldt offensive line. They're usually very smart about getting a hat on a hat and or opening up the gaps for the run or the ball carrier. Twin receivers to the right. Goodner is going to take the snap, hand off to Haviland. He's got a lane up the right. See if he can bounce it out. Stiff arms, dives for the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Cubs. Connor Haviland, 23-yard run up the right. Humboldt's offensive line did what they were expected on that play, regathered and blocked very, very soundly on that play. Seems like Humboldt has scored almost at ease all season. It almost looks unfair for the competition. They will go for 2 here. Pistol formation, motion right. That's Kyler Allen. Fake to him. Speed option left. Goodner drops the ball. It's recovered. And they're going to say it was an incomplete forward pass. So 2-point conversion once again no good. They are 1 of 3 on those this evening. The score will remain 20-0. 5:01 remaining here in the first quarter. Let's send it back to the studio for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here with you on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here as we are in Riverton, Kansas this evening. Humboldt is up 20-0 already, about just over halfway through the first quarter. Offense looking very explosive. Defense looking very aggressive. This will be the 3rd kickoff for the Cubs already. Score should be about 24-0, but we have failed 2 of the 3 two-point conversion attempts this evening. Dagan Goodner is going to take this one off on special teams as Connor Haviland is set to kick for the Cubs. Good kick to the left side. It is going to be fielded by number 11 off of a bounce. He's going to bounce it out right up the middle. Got a lane and tries to truck a defender. Carries a few guys, and he's going to get about 7 or 8 yards after contact. He will be brought down at about the 38 or 39-yard line of Riverton. Just about a 20 or 21-yard return for the Rams. Solid return there, number 11. Wish I knew his name. It's not on the roster. Riverton is going to set up in a wingback formation. Motion right, taken by number 11. He's going to get about 3 or 4 yards, possibly. After the handoff, it's going to go for probably a gain of 2 on the play. Riverton lining up 2nd and 8 on their own 40-yard line. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. It's going to be taken for about another 2 yards on the play, maybe 3. We'll see where they mark it. They're going to call it the 42-yard line, so that should be another 2-yard gain. That should bring up about a 3rd and 6. 4 minutes remaining on the dot here in the first quarter. We'll see if they maybe pass the ball on this play. It's going to be motion left, quarterback keeper, and he's going to fumble the ball. Recovered by the Cubs. Sloppy ball handling by the Rams, and it's going to be recovered by number 71 for the Cubs. That's Joshua Hull once again, making them pay for the mistake. That's going to set Humboldt up in very, very good field position once again. They're going to take over 1st and 10 on the Riverton 36-yard line. Score is 20-0, 3:49 remaining here in the first quarter. Humboldt does lead Riverton. Goodner in a heavy set, takes a snap. It's going to be another quarterback run. He's going to bounce it out left. He's got a good block. Man out front, that's David Watts. Blocks the man. Goodner's in the end zone. Touchdown, Cubs. 36-yard carry on the first play of the possession for Dagan Goodner. David Watts, excellent ball player, getting upfield and blocking. He was probably 30 yards down the field from the line of scrimmage blocking for his quarterback, and he plays guard. That's exactly what you want from your offensive line if you're Coach Wyrick. Also, congratulations to Coach Wyrick on getting engaged following their previous game last week. Goodner is going to be under center for this 2-point attempt. It's going to be a handoff to David Watts. There is going to be a whistle before the snap.
For the snap, first charge timeout of the half.
Timeout, Riverton. This is a package that Humboldt wants to run about 3 or 4 times every game. Give the ball to David Watts, and he'll run it right down the throat of the defensive line and get into the end zone. He has not failed once this season, I don't believe. Riverton's coach is arguing something with the officials during this timeout. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to get his point across to him as. Teams are going to jog back to the line of scrimmage, or at least Humboldt is. Coach finally regathers himself and talks to his team in a huddle. He's probably got about 10 seconds or so left to speak to him. He is absolutely heated, though.
Mother Nature cooperates. 6 o'clock p.m. Riverton's Pee Wee football.
And now Riverton jogs back to the line of scrimmage. Let's see if Humboldt runs the same formation with David Watts in the backfield. They're going to split Jackson Akins out wide to the left. David Watts is in the backfield once again for the Cubs. It's going to be a handoff to Watts once again, and he is not in the end zone. The Rams stopped it about a half-yard short. I believe that's the first time David Watts has been stopped short of the goal line this season. That's going to keep the score 26-0 after Humboldt's third failed two-point conversion of the evening. Let's see if maybe they might start going to extra point attempts after this. Well, let's go ahead and send it back to the studio. 30-second timeout here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas. Following that timeout, Riverton took the kickoff to their own 35-yard line, had about a return of about 15 yards. I believe Haviland kicked off once again for the Cubs.
Got an update down the road in Galena, middle of the first. Baxter Springs 0, Galena Bulldogs 22.
Galena Bulldogs leading Baxter Springs 22-0 in the middle of the first quarter as we have a handoff to the right. That's number 22 for the Rams. He's got a lane, and he's going to get about 5 yards. Good carry for the big fullback on the play. Loses his helmet on the play, so he's going to have to take one play off. That'll bring number 11 back into the ball game for the Rams. That was Ethan Shaver on the carry, junior tailback. Second and 5 for the Rams. Handoff up the middle. Number 3 on the carry for the Rams. It's Braden Stewart, sophomore tailback. They have a complete stable of tailbacks here in Riverton. Their quarterback's fairly athletic as well. Bryce Johnson, number 12. They're third and short here after a gain of 4 up the right side. It's going to be 3rd and 2 from the 43-yard line for the Rams. It's going to be another run to the right side. That's number 11. He's got the first down and about an extra yard. Believe that is Riverton's first down of the ball game here as we are getting towards the end of the first quarter. 2:24 remaining. They are almost on to Humboldt's side of the 50. They're going to mark the ball at the 46-yard line. This is about the first time we've seen any consistent running against the Cubs defense this year. Same formation for the Rams, motion left. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Number 3 on the ball carry. He's going to gain about 2.5, 3 yards on the play. Braden Stewart once again on the carry. Riverton is playing a very similar offensive style as Jayhawk Len played a few weeks ago, Humboldt faced. So it should have been somewhat easy to prepare for the Cubs. As there's motion left, hand off left. That's number 4 on the carry. He has a little bit of a lane, and he's going to get close to the first down on the play. He is taken down out of bounds by number 13 for the Cubs. That's Isaiah Coronado. Hunter Crowder, the ball carrier on the play. And they're going to say, are they going to say 3rd and short? I believe they are. 3rd and short. It is 3rd and about 1 inch. Motion right, handoff right. Number 11, the ball carrier, tries to cut upfield and get as much as he can. He's going to lose about half a yard. That will bring up 4th down for the Rams as we are just about to 1 minute remaining here in the first quarter. It's going to be 4th, and they're going to say 1 yard is right about where it's at. We are now under a minute remaining in the first quarter. Time for one more play. Humboldt does lead 26-0 here in Riverton. Same formation once again for the Rams. Motion left, that's number 4. It's going to be play action pass. Number 12 passes to the right. And good effort by number 11 for the Rams. Very good coverage, though, by the Cubs. Quarterback almost maybe should have kept that one and tried to gain as much as he could. He only needed a yard. With that, though, the Cubs are going to take over on downs on their own 45-yard line. 35 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Goodner is set at quarterback. Haviland beside him, I believe, or maybe Hurst. I believe it's actually Hurst. Nope, that's Haviland. They're going to call the play dead, though. False start against the Cubs.
False start against the Cubs. First and 15.
Well, the announcer says false start, but I see officials speaking with Taryn Johnson, a receiver for the Cubs. I believe he was not in correct position at his receiver position. Taryn Johnson out right. Kyler Allen joins him to the right. Jackson Akins out to the left. Goodner and Haviland in the backfield. It's going to be a pass to the right taken by Hurst, and he's going to be brought down immediately. Gain of 5 on the play. That'll get him back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe time for one more play by the Cubs offense here if Coach Wyrick elects to do so. 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line. And they're going to hustle to the line. 5 seconds on the clock. They need to hurry if they want to get it off. 2, 1, and they're going to blow the whistle. End of quarter number 1 here in Riverton. Humboldt leads the Rams 26-0 as we are about to come back for quarter number 2. Before we do, let's go ahead and send it back to the studio, take a 1-minute timeout, get some sponsorship airtime. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM KKOY.
Positions available include local route CDL truck drivers, as well as heavy equipment operators in the Humboldt, Kansas area. Whitaker Aggregates is also looking for a skilled operator with experience operating heavy equipment at their Centerville, Kansas quarry location. Whitaker Aggregate employees are eligible for health insurance, retirement contributions, and paid vacations and holidays. To apply, visit Whitaker Aggregates on the web at www.whitagg.com. For more information, text 620-664-7449 or call 620-876-5676. Start a career with Whitaker Aggregates today.
Welcome back to Cubs football here as we flip sides of the fields for quarter number 2. Humboldt has twin receivers to each side, pistol formation. It is a handoff to Haviland. He's going to gain about 2 yards to the left side, and he's going to be brought down immediately. Number 22 and number 24 for the Rams combined for the tackle. And that would be Ethan Shaver and Gavin Gilmore. A couple of solid linebackers for the Rams. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. One of the first times this season that Humboldt's faced a 3rd and long. They've probably had single digits of those. Shotgun formation, twin receivers to each side. Dagan Goodner back to pass, passes left, has Haviland, stiff arm, Haviland has a lane, blocker downfield, be patient, Haviland, and he cuts it up the middle, and then the end zone, touchdown Cubs. 54-yard pass play for the Cubs on 3rd and long. Connor Haviland showing you exactly why he's on the field on just about every down. Cubs looking like they're going to go for two once again here. Jackson Akins and Kyler Allen to the left side of the formation. Taryn Johnson to the right. Snap is to Goodner. Hands off to Haviland. He's up the middle. Shakes off a few different defenders and is in easily. That'll bring the score to 34-0 in favor of the Cubs. 11:10 remaining here in the first half. Let's go ahead and send it back to the studio for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM KKOY.
Southeast leads Erie 6-0.
Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas. Beautiful, cool evening here. Was very warm earlier in the day as Dagan Goodner is set to kick for the Cubs. He's going to boot it to the right side. It is going to be fielded by the Rams at the 25-yard line. Shakes one defender and is going to get to about the 37-yard line.
It's up to the 37 for the Rams to start first and 10.
About a gain of 12 on the return for the Rams. Fairly decent. Should have been a gain of about 2, but the returner slipped right by one of Humboldt's contained men. 11:06 on the clock here in the first half. Humboldt has pretty much had their way all evening. Score is 34-0 in favor of the Cubs. Riverton's going to take over first and 10 on their own 37-yard line. They're going to motion right, handoff up the middle to number 24, and he's going to be wrapped down for about a yard loss on the play. Number 68, David Watts on the tackle. That'll make it second and about 11 on the 36 of Riverton. Low snap for the Rams. It is a pass play. Rolling out right, and pass will fly out of bounds. Had a couple receivers in the area, but none that were uncovered. That's going to bring up 3rd and 11 for the Rams. 10:27 remaining here in the half. And the Cubs are going to be caught offside. Good cadence by the Rams. Barking out a couple fake signals. That's going to get them about 5 yards closer to that line of gain. They're wanting to get to the 47-yard line. And that'll push them to about a 3rd and 6 situation. So a 3rd and medium. Very much more manageable for the Rams. Good snap right in the center of the chest. Pass right. High floater intended for 21. And he should have had that one. Kyler Allen had good coverage, but 21 pushed off right as the ball got there, and he very well should have caught that one. Coach used to always tell me if you can get a hand on it, you can get it in for a catch. That's going to bring up 4th and 6 for the Rams and more than likely a punting situation. We did see the Cubs get burned on a fake punt last week. We'll see if the Rams have watched any film. Good snap. Decent punt to the left side of the field. Haviland's going to let it roll, and it's going to be down at about the 25, 24-ish yard line of Humboldt's territory. They're going to mark it at the 24. So while we wait on Humboldt's offense to get on field, we'll go ahead and send it back to the station for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM KKOY.
Ball came loose. Cubs keep possession. Second down.
Welcome back to Cubs football, as Humboldt was actually very, very quick to get back out onto the field. They've already ran one play and are about to line up for another. On the first play, on 1st and 10 from the 24, Goodner fumbled the handoff to his tailback. They did recover, however, at the line of scrimmage. So it is now 2nd and 10 from the 24. Pistol formation, handoff up the middle. Haviland has it, has a good lane, and is going to gain about 7 or 8 yards on the carry. And they're going to mark it down at the 33-yard line. That was a gain of 9, is what they're going to call it. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 for the Cubs. We have 9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the first half. Cubs lead 34-0. Pistol formation, twin receivers to the right for the Cubs, single to the left. Good snap. It is going to be a handoff to Haviland once again. He's got a lane out to the right. Stiffs arm the defender. Has a nice block on the perimeter by Johnson. Cuts it back up the middle. He's got a lane. There is a flag on the play, but Haviland is going to outrun everybody, it looks like. Haviland, excellent ball carry. Touchdown Cubs if it stands. Penalty flag is laying on the Riverton 47-yard line. Or on Humboldt's 47-yard line, excuse me. I believe it was a block in the back against the Cubs. That'll bring another score off of the scoreboard. Second one of the night for the Cubs. One on a punt return by Haviland and another on a carry by Haviland. Both very big plays. Cubs are needing to get a couple more scores here in this first half to have a running clock for the whole second half. Let's see where they place the ball at. Penalty was at the 47-yard line. It is a spot foul. They're going to mark it at the 37. So that'll bring up a, well, they're going to call it 1st and 10 since he was beyond the line of gain where the penalty occurred, and Haviland had already gotten past the first down marker. Twin receivers right, single to the left, handoff to the right. That's number 15 on the carry for the Cubs. He's got some speed, and he is going to be down right at midfield. Cooper Jaro on the carry for the Cubs. I apologize immensely if I pronounce that wrong. Somebody should @ me on Twitter and correct me if I am. 8:25 remaining here in the first half. Humboldt leads 34-0. 1st and 10 from the 50. Single receiver to each side of the formation for the Cubs. Full house pistol formation. It's going to be a handoff up the gut. Jarrow on the carry again. Ball comes out, and Riverton seemed to have it for a minute. And it is still Humboldt ball, it appears. Cubs got lucky on that one. Credit of a 5-yard gain for Jarrow. The young running back needs to keep that one tucked tight. Not a very big kid, listed at 5'8", 130. Twin receivers to the left, as well as a tight end, single receiver to the right, single back pistol formation. Good snap to Goodner, speed option to the left. He is going to fake a pitch, cut up field, and be dragged down. 37-yard line is where they're going to mark it. That should be enough for the first down by a few yards. Goodner had J-Row on the pitch, but J-Row is just a little bit too far deep on the play to receive it. Had one guy right between them. Goodner was really looking to pitch it so he could gain an extra 5 or 6 yards on the play. Did not happen, though. New face in the ball club for the Cubs, Kyle O'Neill, senior receiver. Good snap to Goodner. He's going to keep it up, go up the middle, bounce it back right, and he's going to be taken down. Very good gain, about 16 yards on the carry for Goodner. That was a quick developing play, I tell you what. You're going to mark him down at the 21-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 16. And it did not take Goodner very long to get those 16 yards. He faked that handoff and split right down the middle of the field. It's going to be a shotgun formation here. Running back to each side of Goodner. Twin receivers to the left, single to the right. It's going to be a handoff to the left. That should be Tucker Hurst on the play. He's going to truck a guy, and he's going to be down for a no gain on the play. There is some laundry on the field, though. They're going to call a penalty at the 13-yard line. Let's see what that penalty was. That was a few yards downfield from the carry.
Penalty against the Cubs.
It is going to be against the Cubs. Didn't really ever see exactly what the penalty was. More than likely a holding call. They're going to place the ball at the 32-yard line, so it's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot at the end of the run, I believe. So it's going to be 1st and 20, so that was a holding call against the Cubs. So 1st and 20 from the 32-yard line, halfway through the second quarter, 6 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. Twin receivers to the right, single to the left. Shotgun formation with J-Row as the single tailback beside Dagan Goodner. It's going to be a pass up the middle. He's got a receiver. That is Tucker Hurst with an excellent catch.
Pass complete to Hurst.
We'll see how they mark it at the 22-yard line, so a gain of 10.
17.
Nice job on the pass play, for the Cubs. Getting back to the original line of scrimmage, I believe. Excuse me, they're going to mark that at the 17. I was reading the field a little bit wrong, so I was 5 yards off. 2nd and 6 for the Cubs. Trips receivers to the right, single tailback beside Goodner, Pass to Allen on the edge. He's going to spin his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Cubs. Bubble screen to the right. Play stands. 40-0 Cubs. Had a little tickle in my throat as that play was going on. I apologize. Kyler Allen lined up in the slot. Goodner passed to him on a bubble screen, and he had excellent downfield blocking on the right side. Cubs should be going for 2 once again here. Kyle O'Neill split out to the left for the Cubs. Dagan Goodner in a pistol formation. It's going to be a handoff to Cooper J-Row. He is going to bounce his way in, and they're going to call him down at the half-yard line. 2-point conversion, no good once again. That is the 4th failed 2-point conversion by the Cubs. So the one area of the Riverton Rams defense that is holding strong is at the goal line. 5:16 remaining here in the first half. Cubs lead 40-0. Let's go ahead and send it back to the station for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Humboldt, Kansas. Connor Haviland set to kick for the Cubs. Boots it deep down the left side of Riverton, fielded at the 32. He's going to bounce it back, and he's going to be swallowed. Good group tackling by the Cubs. Number 7 coming in for some clean-up work. Had a Speed Hepker on the finishing tackle. Cooper J-Rowe held him up initially, and Speed just came and finished him off. They're going to mark the ball forward progress at the 35, so only a gain of 3 on the return. Riverton's last drive cut a little bit short by a fumble. They're going to take over at their own 35-yard line, 1st and 10, 5:11 remaining in the half. Motion right, pitch right, number 22 is going to be swallowed deep in the backfield. David Watts doing an excellent job keeping contained. He swallowed him about 5 yards deep, but just about. They are going to call it a loss of 5.5. Excuse me. 2nd and 15 from the 30 for the Rams offense. Pass play, looking right. Going to pass to the tailback, and it's going to be dropped by number 3. The intended receiver, decent pass, just a little bit weak on the throw. As Braden Stewart, the intended receiver. Third and 15 for the Rams offense on their own 30-yard line. Good snap. And he's going to be swallowed deep in the backfield. Excuse me. This is going to bring up a punting situation for the Rams. High snap over the punter's head, and he is going to have to fall on it. I believe the Cubs fell on it first. Player down for the Rams. That is the punter on the ground, shaking up just a little bit. And I believe the Cubs recovered. Not quite sure. 25, the punter for the Rams, jogs off the field. Just a little bit lame on there. And he comes to the sideline, and he's still a little bit shaken up. That is going to be 1st and 10 for the Cubs at the Riverton 6-yard line, I believe. So 1st and goal for the Cubs. Cubs are going to come out in a pistol formation. Haviland a single tailback behind Goodner. Tie it into the left side of the formation. Trips receivers to the right. Allen in the slot. Coronado out there as well. It's going to be a handoff to Haviland. He's going to get the edge, and he is going to walk into the end zone. 7-yard touchdown run. Connor Haviland. It's going to make the score 46-0 here. 3:46 remaining in the half. Humboldt once again putting it on their opponent. We have seen it all year. It's almost hard to imagine another different outcome for the Cubs. They throw the tee onto the field. Looks like we're going to have our first point after attempt of the night. And this should bring the score 47-0 if good. Goodner is the kicker. Kyler Allen the holder. Good snap, good hold, good kick, and no good. Wide right by Goodner. So failed point after attempt for the Cubs. It's going to leave the score at 46-0. We're going to go ahead and send it back to the station for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY.
You want a chance in on the pass for cash? Right here in the main grandstands. Stick your hand up in the air, get their attention. Come up. One ticket for $1 or 6 for $5. Goodner to kick for the Cubs. Shelburne Crowder back deep for the Rams.
Welcome back to Cubs football. Here is Dagan Goodner is set to kick for the Cubs. Boots it deep down the left side, fielded at about the 25-yard line by the Rams. Spins his way to the 35. Can't quite see the number of the return man for the Rams. Believe it was number 5.
Gets up to the 35 for the Rams to start 1st and 10.
It was Caleb Allen on the return. Did a fairly nice job with what he had. Gained about 10 yards on the return. Didn't look like there was much of anything there. Cubs leading this one 46-0. 3:43 remaining in the half. Riverton sets up shop on their own 35-yard line. Motion right, handoff right, number 11 on the ball carry. He's going to spin his way upfield. He's got a lane, and he is going to be down just about the first down marker. He only had about 1 or 2 guys to beat, and he might have been gone. He has definitely got some speed. Coronado on the stop for the Cubs. It's going to bring up a 1st and 10 on an 11-yard carry for the Rams. Receiver to the right side of the formation for the Rams. It's going to be a handoff to the left, and the play is going to be called dead. Offsides on the Cubs.
Offsides against the Cubs. It's going to be 1st and 5 from midfield.
It's going to bring up a 1st and 5 from about the 49 or 50-yard line, 49 of the Cubs. They are going to mark it at the 49. So good field position once again for the Rams here in the ball game. See if they can do something with it this time. Good snap, handoff to the right to number 26 for the Rams. He cuts it up the middle. He's going to get just about 1 yard shy of the first down. We finally got a name on number 11. It is Will Shaver. He is on the roster, but he's listed wearing number 1. So he added an extra 1 to his jersey for this ball game. I'm glad we finally got that figured out, because he is an excellent ball carrier. Good snap. Handoff up the middle, number 26 once again for the Rams. That is Walker Mallett on the carry.
Mallett with the carry.
Sophomore tailback. This Riverton roster only has, it looks like, 3, maybe 4 seniors on the ball team. It's a heavy junior and sophomore squad. They look like they might have a little bit of youth that's pretty darn good here in the works in Riverton. Good snap, pass play, looking right. He's going to throw it way up for grabs. 21 tries to come back for it, incomplete, but there is a flag on the play. Looks like 2 flags on the play. Referee threw his hat on the ground. We'll see what they call it. Pass interference against Humboldt. That'll give the Rams an automatic first down and some very, very good field position. So we are just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Rams looking to get on the scoreboard to avoid a running clock in the second half. I believe it's once the score deficit is 45, we'll have a running clock in the second half. It is going to be a handoff to the right. That is Shaver on the carry. He's going to stretch for a couple extra yards. They're going to call it a gain of 6. So that'll bring up 2nd and 4 for the Rams. Tell you what, Will Shaver is listed as a sophomore. And if that is actually the case, is sometimes high school rosters are a little inaccurate by accident. He is going to be an excellent player by the time his career is over here in Riverton. Motion left, that's number 26. Handoff up the middle to Shaver. He makes a couple guys miss, and he is inside of the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 9. 14-yard carry. Quickness gets the yardage as Shaver splits the middle of the Humboldt defense, gets between the tackles, and almost scored on the play. Brought down by just about the last line of defense for the Cubs. Motion right, that is Shaver. They're going to hand it to Shaver. He's going to make one guy miss, cut it back, make another miss, spin his way to about the 4-yard line. 5-yard carry for Shaver inside the 10, bring up 2nd and goal. Rams are starting to get a little bit creative here as we reach the halftime, just under a minute, 55 seconds remaining and ticking. So they have to be careful with time management here as they're only on 2nd down. They're going to have to hustle. It is going to be a run play by the quarterback to the right, and he is going to try and get out of bounds, and he can't quite reach it. And he's going to get right about back to the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 4, and the clock is going to stop. Timeout Riverton. While they take a timeout, we're going to go and take one with them. 30 seconds. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas. We are just now coming back to the line of scrimmage. Riverton jogs back onto the field after the timeout. It is 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line for the Rams, looking to get their first score of the evening. Just at 32 seconds remaining here in the first half. Humboldt does lead Riverton, however, 46-0. So the most that this score would accomplish is to stop a running clock situation to start the second half, as Riverton will receive the ball. Maybe give them a little confidence going to the locker room. Motion right. It is going to be a handoff up the gut, and he's going to gain maybe a yard or 2. Clock is still ticking, 24 seconds and going, and they're finally going to call a timeout. At 22 seconds is Riverton. So while they take a timeout, we're going to take one with them. 30 seconds here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas, as the Humboldt Cubs lead the Riverton Rams 46-0. It is 3rd and goal for the Rams from the 3-yard line. Pass play to the left, looking for a fade route, has a man, dropped, almost hauled it in. Pass intended for number 21 by the Rams. There is a flag on the play. Number 21 for the Rams is Tyler Larison. He is about the only guy they've split out at receiver all evening, usually running a 1 wide receiver set with 3 running backs and a quarterback. Each tailback, if you're listening on the radio, is lined up behind each offensive tackle, and a fullback basically behind the quarterback, in what they seem to run kind of a wishbone and the pistol formation. Pass interference against the Cubs is going to set up an automatic first down, I would assume, for Riverton. But they're going to keep it at 4th down for some reason. They're going to get into the end zone. Number 11 for the Rams. Will Shaver on the carry, right up the gut, which is the strength of this Humboldt defense. 13 seconds on the clock. And the score is 46-6 now. We'll see if the Rams can put a couple more points on the board. Or, excuse me, 1 point on the board. They're going to go for a PAT try. PAT standing for point after attempt, for those of you somewhat new to the sport or just kind of listening as you're traveling. High snap, good hold, however, on the recovery. And the PAT is good. That is going to bring the deficit to 39. 46-7 is now the score here in Riverton as the Rams are on the board. Let's send it back to the studio for another 30-second timeout. This is Wyatt Bollinger on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM radio KKOY. Riverton just scored their first time in the ball game, so kickoff is set here in Riverton. Boot to the left, and it is going to be picked up. Looked like it was going to go out of bounds. Number 32 for the Cubs picked it up and is going to take it to about the 41. Kyle Kobold on the return for the Cubs. 7 seconds remaining. I would imagine the Cubs will just take a knee here, but you never know. Coach Wyrick might want to start the game in the second half with a running clock, so they might try and get one score here before we go into halftime. They have good field position to try it, but it looks like they're in the clock management formation trying to take a knee. Haviland is 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And they will take a knee, and we are going to go into half. For halftime, we're going to go ahead and send it back to the studio, and we are going to play some music. Before we do that, I'm going to read off a few scores here around the state to keep those of you who are listening on our station and not others up to date on other scores. Let's see here. Mill Valley is playing at Pittsburgh this evening. Mill Valley is leading in the second quarter 21-6. Frontenac is beating Caney Valley 14-0. Iola is up 21-0 over Burlington. St. Paul over Marmaton Valley 26-0. Labette County is tied with Wellington 20-20 in the second quarter. That game is being played at Wellington. Pleasanton is leading Uniontown 12-6 in the second quarter. Jayhawk Lynn is beating Northeast Arma 16-0. Fredonia is leading Belle Plaine 14-7. Field Kinley over Abilene so far through 2 quarters, 12-8.
Begin your halftime entertainment, RHS cheerleaders.
Parsons is beating Columbus 22-0. Girard is losing to Prairie View currently in the second quarter. 7-6 is the score. Southeast Cherokee last updated quarter number 2, beating Erie 6-0. And that looks like it's going to be about all we can see for local schools here so far. So let's go ahead and send it back to the studio. We have about 15 minutes on the prep clock here in halftime. We're going to send it back for about that amount of time in music. So let's go ahead and listen to some classic country. We'll be back for the second half here as Humboldt takes on Riverton Rams, leading 46-7 at the half. We'll be right back on KKOY 98.5 FM, 1460 AM. We'll see you here in a bit. About 15 minutes or so. They have 14 minutes left on the prep clock for halftime, but I imagine it'll probably go a little bit longer than that. So I'll get back on the mic whenever I'm good to go. Right on. There you go. All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit. You back yet? Right on. I'm trying to finish my soft pretzel before this thing gets going, but we got about 45 seconds left. Oh, Lord, I got like halfway through this pretzel. It's huge. I should not have ordered it with cheese, though, because they gave me way too much cheese. All right, go ahead and send it back. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas is the place of play this week. Humboldt will be kicking off to the Riverton Rams to open up the second half. Humboldt leads 46-7 as we open up the second half of play here. Humboldt currently 5-0. More than likely after tonight going to advance to 6-0 unless something drastic changes. Humboldt does kick the ball to Riverton, though, so Riverton will have a chance to decrease Humboldt's lead to open up the second half here. Connor Haviland is going to be set to kick off for the Cubs. Tell you what, I got to give Riverton's concession stand some credit. They have some awesome soft pretzels with cheese. Kick to the left, taken by number 4 by Riverton. He's going to hit the left sideline, make a couple guys miss. He's got an edge, and he is going to be pushed out of bounds. If he would have had about 5 yards more of real estate on the sideline, he might have been gone. They're going to mark him out at Riverton's own 44-yard line, though. Excellent starting field position for the Rams offense. Back to my story about the pretzels. These things are soft and delicious. 11:51 here remaining in the third quarter as we are just now underway. Riverton coming back out with their option style. Handoff to number 22. He's met and drove back deep into the backfield. Number 77 on the stop for the Cubs. Caleb Clawman, a senior defensive end for the Cubs. He's been solid all year.
2nd and 14.
2nd and 14 for the Rams following that play. Number 22 on the carry, though, is Ethan Shaver. Good snap. Handoff off the left side to number 4. He's got a little bit of room, and he's going to be brought down hard out of bounds. Connor Haviland on the stop, and he met number 4 for Riverton, Hunter Crowder, with some authority.
Crowder with the carry. Gets back towards the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 10.
He picks up 4 yards on the play. That'll make it 3rd and 10 for the Rams here on their first possession following the halftime break. Tyler Larison flanks out wide for the Rams. It's going to be a handoff up the middle.
Braden Stewart with the carry.
Braden Stewart on the carry is only going to gain about 2 yards. He is met pretty immediately by the interior defensive line for Humboldt. It's going to bring up a 4th and 8 situation, more than likely going to be a punt. Punter for the Rams this evening has been Jaden Faircloth. He was shaken up on his last punt, but back in the game and gets off a good one here. And it's going to be down at about the 33-yard line in Humboldt territory, so decent job flipping the field there. Got about 25 or so net yards on the punt. Humboldt's offense is already on the field. 9:36 remaining here in the third quarter. We'll see how long it takes Coach Wyrick to pull out his starters on offense and defense and put in the backups. For right now, I still see only starters on the field.
1st and 10 Cubs from their own.
I do believe. We are putting in backup quarterback and leaving everybody else on the field, however. So new quarterback in the game for the Cubs as there was a false start against the Cubs on their first play. New quarterback for Humboldt is Isaiah Coronado. We've seen him quite a bit last week at the tail end of the game versus Erie. And he played fairly well in his time in the ballgame. Played most of the fourth quarter. And if I recall, a little bit of the third quarter. So they put him in just a little bit earlier than normal this evening. Haviland still in the backfield. Allen and Johnson out wide. Hand off to Haviland. He's got a little bit of running room up the middle, and he's going to be taken down about after a gain of probably about 10. He's about 5 yards from the line of gain. About 6 yards, excuse me, so a gain of 9 on the play. Should be 2nd and 11 or so, or excuse me, 6. They're going to call it a 2nd and 5, so he did get a gain of exactly 10. Pistol formation, twin receivers to the left. Hand off to Haviland once again. Stiffs arms the defender. He's up the middle, bounces out to the left. He's got some room, one guy to beat, and he is going to bulldoze his way to the 30-yard line. He'll be brought down. Number 5 on the tackle for the Rams. Caleb Allen on the tackle, defensive back. And they're going to mark him down at the 30, previously on their own 38. So a gain of 32 on the play. They're actually going to mark it at the 29. They're going to call it a gain of 33. Single receiver to each side. Excuse me, twin receivers to the right side. Allen almost looked like a receiver, or tight end, excuse me. Handoff was to Cooper J-Row, and he's going to be met in the backfield pretty darn quickly. Parsons on the stop for the Rams.
2nd and 8.
It's going to be 2nd and 8 for the Cubs. On their own, or excuse me, on the Rams' 27-ish yard line. 6:30 remaining here in the third quarter. Twin receivers right, good snap speed option to the right. It's going to be a pitch to Jaro. He's got a couple guys to beat. Uses his body and gets a couple extra yards, falls forward. They're going to mark him at the 20, but I really think he got the 19. It's going to be about 1 yard short of the first down here. 3rd and 1 for the Cubs on the 20-yard line, needing to get to the 19. Shotgun formation. Connor Haviland in at quarterback now. Normally tailback. Motion right. That's Kyler Allen. Excuse me, that's number 2. Jackson Akins. Haviland's going to keep it himself. Run out to the left, and he's going to ease into the end zone. Touchdown, Cubs. Wow, that was easy. Connor Haviland read the defense perfectly. He had the option to pitch it to Akins on the sweep, but he kept it himself, and he went untouched for that 20-yard score. 5:20 remaining, and the clock is ticking with a running clock. 52-7 is the score now. Humboldt is going to go for 2 here to try and increase the lead to 54-7. They're going to keep the point after team on the sideline. Connor Haviland stays at quarterback. Cooper J-Row beside him. Motion right again. That is once again Akins. They're going to fake it to him once again. Haviland keeps it and trucks a defender in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Just under 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Humboldt leads 54-7 over the Riverton Rams here on the Rams home field. While we approach kickoff, we're going to send it back to the studio for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here on KKOY 98.5. 1460 AM.
Local real estate services are also available with BFI. Go to BFI-insurance.com for locations near you and to get an online quote.
CFI is a proud supporter of the Humboldt Cubs. Go Cubs!
Let's get back to some Humboldt Cubs football on the one and only 1460 AM and 98.5 FM.
Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas. The Cubs lead 54-7 here midway through the third quarter. Really more towards the tail end of the third quarter. We do have a running clock now. Humboldt has a new kicker in the game. That is number 4 for the Cubs. And he's going to actually get a pretty good kick, fielded at the 18-yard line of Riverton, probably the farthest receiving spot we've had all night. And they're only going to get to their own 26-yard line. So 8-yard return. Number 4 on the return for Riverton.
10 from their own 27.
Is Hunter Crowder. Number 4 for the Cubs on the kick was Ethan. I am absolutely going to butcher this, but he is a freshman, so apologize. I'll have time to figure it out. But it is Depke, I believe. Riverton's offense, motion left, handoff up the middle. Tried to see who the ball carrier was. That was number, I believe, 11 on the play. Will Shaver on the carry once again. He's been one of their leading rushers this evening. He has the lone touchdown for the Rams. Handoff once again for the Rams. Number 24 on the carry this time. Down the left side of the formation. He's going to gain a few yards. It's going to be third down. It's actually going to be 2nd and 7. I believe. The chain gang has the marker as third down. The announcer and the board both say second down. So we'll see which one of them's wrong here. 2nd and 7 from the 30. Motion left. Pass to the left side. Nobody there. Pass goes out of bounds. Intended for number 11, Shaver. That should bring up third down. But the chain gang makes it 4th. So somebody's off. It was the board. Chain gang is always correct. 4th down now for the Rams. Should be another punting situation. Number 25 back in the game once again to punt for the Rams. Jaden Faircloth. Good snap. Decent punt this time. It's going to be fielded at, they're going to let it roll. And it's going to roll all the way. Very good roll. About 15-yard roll there, and they're going to say it stopped at about the Humboldt 37-yard line. So they're going to call that a, do some quick math here, what, a 33-yard punt on net. We're going to go ahead and keep it here. 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Humboldt will have to run one play before the end of the quarter. They do some substitutions here as a couple guys jog off the field and a couple guys more jog on. 15 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. They got to be close to the play clock. They are rushing to the line. Johnson and Allen out wide. It'll more than likely be a run play for the Cubs. Snap at 5 seconds. It is a handoff to Haviland. He's going to break a couple tackles. He's out to the right side. Good block by Johnson on the edge. And Haviland's going to be run out of bounds right at Riverton's 36-yard line. So he's going to go from 136 to the other 36. That is going to be a gain of 28 on the play. Well, that brings us to the fourth quarter, folks. Humboldt leads Riverton 54-7 if you're just joining us. Whenever we come back to start the fourth quarter, it will be Humboldt's ball. They actually marked it at the 37-yard line, 1st and 10 of Riverton. Let's go ahead and send it back to the station for a 1-minute break, and we'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM KKOY.
50-50 pot tickets.
stool test is $12, and samples can be taken to any of our 4 office locations in Erie, Iowa, Fort Scott, or Yates Center. Give me a call at 620-244-3826, and I can give you instructions on how to take a stool test.
Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas. Cubs are once again fast to get back from break. They already ran a play. It was a no-gain run by Cooper J-Rowe. It's going to be 2nd and 10, 11:30 remaining here in the game. Full house pistol formation. Coronado at quarterback, handoff to J-Rowe. He's going to go straight up the gut. And it is going to be a gain of, well, he's going to go from the 37-yard line to about the 33-yard line, so a gain of 4 on the play. Should bring up a 3rd down and about 5 or 6, maybe 7 on the play coming up. Under 11 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Shotgun formation. Coronado in the backfield at quarterback. J-Rowe beside him. It is a pass play. Looking left. Has a man left. Caught by number 2, Jackson Akins. He's got a lane up the middle and almost has a touchdown. Brought down at the 9-yard line. There is a penalty flag on the play. Partial laundry this evening in the color of pink. Thank you to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Glad to see stuff like that here in the Southeast Kansas area. The whole month of October being breast cancer awareness. They even have logos painted on the field in order to represent that on each side and just about every corner of the field. Each 20-yard line, the 50-yard line, and at the end of each end zone. Love seeing that here. 10 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. 54-7 still the score. The penalty flag was inside the 10, so it was half the distance to the goal. It was against the Rams. Humboldt will set up shop. 1st and goal from about the 5-yard line. It is going to be an option play, and it is going to be kept right up the middle for a gain of 1 yard. Coronado keeping it. Probably wise. DNs were keeping contained fairly well. Getting tired of getting beat on the edge by the running game. So far, so good for Coronado in at quarterback for the Cubs. Just getting some second-team players, some reps, as just about the entire offensive unit is now second-team players. Pistol formation. It is going to be a handoff to J-Rowe. He's going to wiggle through and be down at about the 1-yard line. Solid blocking up front by Humboldt. Decent defensive play up front for the Rams. That's going to bring up a 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. We'll see what Coach Wyrick wants to do here. With first-team players, he would normally put David Watts right in the backfield and let him power it right on in.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
We are having a pause currently for substitution as well as a player tying a shoe. I believe the timeout was more for the player tying a shoe, but Riverton's going to take advantage and substitute a defensive player in and out. Big 3rd down play here for the Cubs. Trying to get into the 60s on the scoreboard. Currently at 54, the score would put them at 60. Clock once again rolls as we hit just under 8 minutes to go here in the contest. 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Pistol formation, twin receivers to the left, single to the right. Single back is J-Rowe. It's going to be an option play, kind of a pass option, but Coronado keeps it, and he is in the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown run. Isaiah Coronado doing what he needed to do on the play. 7:30 remaining here in the ball game and ticking as we have a running clock. The deficit for the Rams is now 53 points as Humboldt's up 60-7 on Riverton's homecoming evening tonight. Not sure if that was planned out before the schedule was brought upon the athletic director and the school board, but not who I would have picked for my homecoming night. Clock is now under 7 minutes to go. PAT try, Connor Haviland. Kick is up. It is good. 61-7 is now the score in favor of the Cubs. Let's go ahead and send it back to the station for a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back here on 98.5 FM, 1460 AM, KKOY. Welcome back to Cubs football here in Riverton, Kansas. Humboldt is set to kick off to the Rams. Back deep to receive for the Rams is going to be number 21, Tyler Larson, and I believe number 4, Hunter Crowder, as well as number 3, Braden Stewart, and number 5, Caleb Allen. They're sitting right in front of the return men, but that's usually about where the ball ends up. They're standing at the 25, and I'll be surprised if it goes much farther than that. Set to kick for the Cubs is number 4, Ethan Depke. Kick is up. It is fielded at the 25. Number 5 on the return, and he is going to be swallowed and pile drove into the ground. 2 Cubs picked him up with each leg and slammed him right down. They did it with a little bit of ease, though, to avoid a penalty. A few years ago, you might have seen a much tougher tackle. Caleb Allen on the return, gained about 10 yards on the return, took it from the 25, ended up at the 35, so it'll be 1st and 10 Riverton. They're actually going to spot it at about the 37-yard line for forward progress. 4:30 remaining here in the ball game. It is going to be a handoff to the left side, cut back up the middle, and going to get back to the original line of gain is number 5 for Riverton, Caleb Allen, once again on the carry. Going to be 2nd and 10 for the Rams on their own 37-yard line, trying to get their second score of the game on this drive. As we see second-team players in the ballgame for Riverton as well now. Motion right, handoff up the middle, and it's going to be met and stopped immediately. Number 74 on the tackle for the Cubs. That's Travis King, junior D lineman, listed at 6'2", 270, and he is every bit of that. I believe it was number 22 or 32 on the carry for the Rams. I believe it was Ethan Shaver. 32? It was 32 on the carry. Derek Larson. High snap, handoff. Larson once again takes it to the 41, so he's going to gain a few yards on the play. Maybe 1 or 2 yards. I'm going to call it a 2-yard gain. It is going to be 4th and 6 for the Rams, another punting situation. Larson back deep to punt for the Rams. J-Row and a new face, Caden Barnett, back deep to receive for the Cubs. High snap over the punter's head. He's going to pick it up, try to do something with it. He's going to get a few extra yards, and he is going to be brought down at about the 28 or 29-yard line. Was able to get about 8 yards or so for the defense to work with. That is the second high snap we've seen on the special teams for Riverton this evening, going over the punter's head. Clock is right over 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. 61-7 still the score. 1st and 10 for the Cubs. They're going to try and just take this one to the end of the game. Get 1 first down, and that should be just about it for this one. Cubs will improve on the season to 6-0 and 3-0 in district play. Riverton will fall to 1-5 and 1-2 in district play. Hand off to number 4 for the Cubs. He's going to get quite a few yards, and he's going to be brought down at the 16-yard line. As Ethan Depke on the carry, the freshman, getting him some carries, and he did a solid job with it. They're saying that was a gain of, let's see here, went from the 29 to the 16. I believe that's about 15 yards or so, 13 yards. 1:12 remaining. That should take us to the end of the ball game. They are going to get a couple more plays off. Number 6 in at quarterback for the Cubs. Number 4 in the backfield is Depke. It's going to be a handoff to Depke. He's going to be met in the backfield and taken down for a loss of about 4 yards on the play. Solid work, number 54 on the stop for the Rams. Getting in there and getting him down quick. That is Zane Shearman, a freshman D lineman on the play. Tell you what, Riverton does not look like they're going to have what they wanted for this season, but they have some young depth that are going to show out here in the next couple of years. I almost promise you that. We've actually seen that quite a bit this year with Neodesha looked that way, as well as Erie and Eureka. Every team is just youthful and promising for the future. Humboldt is just in the now right now and doing solid work against it. There is a flag on this play. It's going to be a false start against the Cubs as we are under 10 seconds to go in the contest. We'll see if they get another play off. It looks like they're going to walk to the sideline, and that is going to be the end of the ball game this evening. For everybody here at the studio, Humboldt beats Riverton 61-7 here in Riverton. Once again, Humboldt improves to 6-0 on the season. Riverton will be 1-5 after this contest, I do believe. I'm going to go ahead and check a few scores and let you know who each team is playing next week. Next week, Humboldt, I believe, will be at Northeast Arma, which should be another gimme. I hate saying that, but Arma has not won a game in a very long time. I believe it's been since 2016 or 2015. And with how good Humboldt is, it's just hard seeing something happen to where Northeast wins that game. Riverton next week will be at Southeast Cherokee. It could be a much more manageable game. Southeast Cherokee this season hasn't been bad, but they haven't been spectacular. They're at 3-2 on the year and currently winning against Erie at Erie. Their only 2 losses were by 8 points and 2 points, so they do look fairly decent on the year. As far as district standings go, Humboldt is the lone man atop of the Class 2A District 1 standings, as they are now 3-0 overall in the district, 6-0 overall as a whole. Really their only competition left to win the district is going to be Southeast Cherokee, and that's if Southeast wins out and beats Humboldt in week 8, which is the final week of regular season play. Very awesome moment right now in midfield as each team is gathered for prayer. Dear, be respectful of others on the road. And for those of you watching online, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week as Humboldt will travel to Arma to face the Northeast Arma Vikings. Go Cubs! Do what now? Yep, we're actually out of here before 9. Holy cow. I don't know what happened. I think I hit something on my power strip with my iPad, and like the computer was like battery low, and then I couldn't hear myself in the mic, so I had to like hit it again and it started working. Yeah. Right on, man. Dude, next week's going to be awesome. I have to drive like 5 blocks. Right on. We'll talk to you next week, brother. All righty. Take her easy. Later.